Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 4 of The Winning Streak. I'm your host, Bryson,
And I'm Zeke.
and today we have a few topics to cover, so we're just going to get straight into it. Firstly, starting off with the Nuggets going up 3 to
No.
1 on the Miami Heat.
3-1. That wraps up series, to be honest, in my book. There's just
Yeah,
no 2016 scenario right there.
no,
Like
no
there
chance.
I would like to say that my Nuggets in 5 scenario is still going through. I see
I
him
think I
winning next
said
game.
that. I think I said on one of the episodes. I know I said it to you. I don't know if I said on the episodes. I said in 4 or 5, so I'll count myself
Yeah,
half right.
I've been saying 5 or 6, but I
hmm
think that because I mean Heat won game 3, correct? They went up, or is it no?
They
They
won
won
game
game 2.
2. They won game
So
2.
I think the Nuggets will close out at home game 5.
Yeah,
And I think that just
especially.
wraps up series. Obviously, Jokic is Finals MVP in that
Yeah,
situation.
obviously. Yeah, no,
Even
no
though,
doubt.
um, like
Christian
they
Brown.
Christian Brown, Christian Brown, okay, like the whole team played great. I'll say that. Like
Yeah,
KCP played pretty good
Aaron
last two
Gordon.
games.
Last
Aaron
game
Gordon,
was unbelievable.
uh, Michael never passed the ball. Porter Jr. Um,
He's been playing. I
he's
feel
been
like has
he's
he
been
been
doing
playing
his
really
thing.
good? I haven't really been hearing a lot about him for some reason.
He doesn't pass the ball, so
Yeah,
that's why. The
Jamal
only thing you
Murray.
hear about
That
him
was
is
a
negative.
crazy game. It was game 3 when they both had triple doubles with
Yeah,
30 points.
Jamal
That was
Murray.
crazy.
Yeah, he was great.
Literally unheard of.
Honestly, in my book, he like if Jokic wasn't putting up these insane numbers like 40 minutes, 30 points, 20 boards, 10 assists,
Yeah,
like you would be hearing about Jamal Murray. But
yeah.
I mean, I like that they're still posting it up. I mean, did you see like the floor burn picture and all that?
I
And
did not
like
see that. No.
he like burnt like a hole in his palm
Oh yeah.
when he
Okay, I
fell
did
on the
see
court.
that.
And
That
I
looks
saw this.
painful.
I read this article about how when he was a kid, his dad used to put him through um like pain practices where he'd like make put like hot cups of tea on his thighs and stuff so he would have like a
Damn.
high pain tolerance. Which
That's
like
smart, I
I saw a lot
guess.
of like discourse about like whether or not that would be considered child abuse.
I was about to
if
mention that.
if you didn't make the NBA, is that child abuse? But like
I mean,
I think if you make the NBA, it's not child abuse in that situation. To be honest, like
I'll give him the credit, I guess, because it
I'll give
worked
his dad
out,
that because it
but
worked. Um,
only because it worked out, though.
yeah,
But a little bit off topic.
it,
But
uh,
I don't know. I think it worked out fine for him. That did look
yeah,
painful though.
it
Like
did. It was
I
like
think
he
he wrapped
really
his hand obviously for that,
probably just
which as long as it wasn't his shooting hand,
throw a
and I
little
think that's the
Neosporin
night he
on
got
it,
the triple
and
double,
you
right?
can just probably maybe the
Jeez.
night before, but like Nuggets they're playing really good and makes me think
Yeah.
like next year if the Suns get better or like I mean really in the West with these teams super teams breaking apart like the Warriors. I
Yeah.
mean the Nuggets and the Suns are really the only teams like left that are going to be competing next year. Which I mean like you could say the Lakers, but I mean
I think the Lakers will be competing for
there's
sure.
situations there. I don't really know. LeBron is clearly winding down. I mean there was mentions of him
I don't
retiring.
know. I mean, yeah,
So
I feel like part of that,
which I mean,
honestly,
I
I
don't
think
think
that was
any of
just
that
the
came to
night.
fruition, but like, I think it really was. I mean, like,
Like anyone would,
I feel like
I feel
every
like he
time
was just
there's a
pissed
big
off.
game, and then like either a team wins or loses, the star player there's always talks about him retiring. I mean, even
Yeah,
Giannis was saying he was going to retire a few years ago.
yeah. I did see
Um,
something about that. That was pretty dumb though.
it was a little interesting, but like, I mean, I get it. Like, I could honestly see like a guy like Jokic like retiring after this series. To be honest,
Yeah, he's just like
like just
I've done
random
my
retire.
part. He
Yeah,
just retires. I
just
don't
go
think
like live in
LeBron will.
Serbia for the rest of it. Yeah, LeBron will be in the league. He's lost enough times not to retire over a
Yeah,
conference finals
I
loss.
think I think
Even if he
before he
gets swept,
retires,
but
he could.
he could.
I think he'll get one more
He
ring
wants to
before
play
he
with Bronny.
retires.
I
Yeah,
don't think he'll win any more rings, to be
I think
honest.
he'll go to a different team and win one. He'll
I
just
think
go
his
to a super
window
team.
I think his window is probably finished, to be honest.
If
But
he stays at the Lakers, I agree. But I think he
yeah.
could definitely. I mean, that goes kind of with one of the topics, not the next one in order.
Yeah.
But LeBron going to the Mavericks,
Yeah.
that's
I've been
that would
seeing
be
about that.
insane.
I don't think that's gonna happen because I mean, in
No.
what situation do you get that done? Like
Yeah, and even if
who
you
do you
do get it
who do
done,
you
what
send
is your bench gonna
whether
be?
like Yeah, it's just like
Like, but
the
if
only
LeBron
situation I
goes,
see
I'm
that
seeing talk about Draymond joining too. That would be
Draymond
a good
joining the
team.
Mavericks is a lot more realistic than
Yeah,
LeBron, and I mean Draymond could end up. I could even see him joining like a team like the Celtics, even like.
yeah. His
I mean,
contract's
what
pretty
teams?
big, isn't it?
Well, he's is he on the end? I thought he was on a contract here.
I'm honestly not sure.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on that one too. But if he's on a contract here, I mean, he could really go wherever he wants. He
Yeah,
obviously wants to play for like a contender, but like, I
yeah,
mean, trade
understandably.
package wise, he's a good fit on the Mavs. But
Yeah,
I mean,
Draymond and Luca.
if Kyrie stays, yeah, that's a great setup. But
Yeah,
they
Draymond,
could
Luca, and
compete.
Kyrie
They
could
could be
be
one of the
a
three teams
top
that
big
competes
three.
in the
They
East
would be the
or
best
West.
big
My bad.
three, honestly, in my opinion.
No, I would not go that far. I would
I'm
not
not talking
consider
about. I'm talking
Draymond
about in like just current. Like who would be a better big three than Luca, Kyrie, and Draymond running the floor and defending?
running the floor and defending. Well, Kyrie isn't like a particularly great defender. Neither
Yeah,
is
he's pretty good.
he's
Luca's not the
solid,
best
but like
defender. Kyrie's a great defender, I would
he's
say.
he's a solid perimeter defender, but I wouldn't
Yeah,
give him anything else on that. I mean, I would actually say that Draymond's probably the only like subpar. No, not subpar. I don't know.
whoa.
I don't
Draymond
know.
is a great
Draymond,
defender
yeah,
all around.
Draymond is a great defender. I'll give him that. He's but like everybody
Come
else on
on the
that team,
show.
not good defenders.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not hating
One
on him
day.
anywhere. We're giving
One
him
day.
props.
Yeah, but I think
Multi-time defensive player of the
like
year, or did he only win once? I thought he won 2016-17
um
or 2015-16.
let's see really
Because
quickly. Just a
he might be
quick.
one time. I have no
I think
idea.
he's at least a two-time.
Yeah, because off the top of my head, the only three-time that's active is Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert. Speaking of Rudy Gobert, not very
2016-17
good.
I think is the only one. So,
2016.
weirdly
Okay,
enough.
interesting. But I mean,
But
he's
he's
good.
been top 5 in voting for 5 years of his career. So, that
Yeah,
kind of
so
just goes to show. And he's always been on an all
he's
defensive
a
team.
perennially good defender,
Yeah.
all NBA standard. So,
Yeah, I think that
I
team
mean,
could work.
he's a really good fit. You're gonna have to
Hmm.
bring him in, obviously, at least 20 mil plus, if not
Yeah.
25, which is unfortunate because I mean he's aging and he's not a good scorer. He's really there
No.
for defense, and I mean he's a good facilitator, I guess. I mean
Yeah.
at one point he was averaging like 10 assists a few years ago. So,
Yeah, I think he's one of the better
but I
floor
mean,
generals
but
still.
I think that has more to do with how he played with that Warriors team. Like if you can pass the ball
Yeah.
out, they're gonna shoot that shot and they're
Yeah,
gonna score that
exactly.
shot.
That's true.
So I think that kind of inflates it because they were like a really high point per game team. So I don't really know. That's
Even with
another
him,
situation we'll see if Draymond is really like that good outside of his system. But
hmm
I mean,
that's true.
I think he'll be fine. And also in that situation, if they get rid of Draymond, are they blowing up that whole team and just keeping Curry?
I was thinking that too. I feel like they're gonna get rid of Clay or Poole, which it would make sense for them to.
I
They're not.
think
I'm not gonna say
I
they're
think it
going
makes
to.
more sense to get rid of Clay because I mean, but the value really isn't there anyway. So
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
don't really know.
It would just be funny to me. I was just thinking about it if Draymond switches
Four rings,
teams and
Draymond.
gets more rings than any of the Warriors players
That would be
currently.
great. I mean, that
That'd be
would be
pretty
like a
funny.
situation with like Dennis Rodman when he left the Pistons and got
Yeah.
the three rings. I mean, actually, he might have. No, he doesn't have six. I was thinking about it if he got one with the Spurs years, but I think he was retired by
No.
then.
Yeah, I think he was.
So, or not Spurs years. Like I guess like Lakers years after the Bulls. Because I forgot he was on the Spurs from
Oh
like
yeah.
91 to like 95 or 96,
Yeah.
95.
He just
So,
he just bounced around a little
I
after the
mean,
Bulls.
yeah, he
Not a
did.
lot, but a little bit.
No, he really only played for like two teams. I think he played for the Mavericks and the Lakers.
Yeah. I
Where
think
he wore number 73. I don't know why that came to mind. That's just like such a hideous number.
it's
Why
such
did
a
they give
random number. It's like the weirdest number you could possibly get. I think
got a little sidetracked
switching
there.
to I guess kind of similar good defenders going on
Situation.
teams. Dwight Howard to the
Dwight
Kings.
Howard, the Kings.
That
I
would
mean,
be
he
insane.
really like. I feel like that's over speculation. He sent out one tweet talking about how the Kings were a good team and he'd be a great fit.
Yeah. No, I know.
Like,
I'm just.
but
I think
but
it's
I feel like
possible.
that's
It's
just more
very
like an
possible.
advertising thing, which I thought he was like really wanting to stay in Taiwan, but like a message like that means he's open to coming back.
He was
But
in an interview and was it the? I think it might be the tweet you're talking about. I thought it was an interview, but he said he's not retired yet. He would love to join the
yeah,
Kings and help
or
them get to a ring.
yeah, I
He's
think
putting it out there
he
that he
said it like
wants
this.
to. I feel like.
I feel like that's a great fit. I mean, you
Yeah.
let Demonis Sabonis play power forward
Hmm.
and let him run center, and that's a great
Yeah.
team. I mean,
They
you
already
really got to
have the
look.
scoring. He can be there
Yeah,
for defense and rebounding. That's all they would need him
yeah,
for, and he
literally.
would score.
I mean, in that situation, you run Malik Monk starting at shooting guard, and then
Yeah. And
Harrison Barnes at small forward. That's a good lineup.
yeah, it is. Yeah. And then they
Yeah,
have the
okay.
bench. Like the bench wasn't
That's
bad
a solid
during the
like three,
playoffs.
4 seed, to be honest. They're
Hmm.
honestly a sneak contender, or at least like conference
Yeah.
championship. I don't see
Yeah,
them winning
for
a
sure.
championship with that team, but
I give
they're
it like
definitely up
if
there.
they keep that team together for a couple years, for sure I think they could. They just need more experience in
Yeah.
the playoffs and in the big moments. I think a lot of people disagree, which is something I never knew, but I always think that being at home with fan bases has so much to do with playing, and they have the
Oh yeah,
best
for sure.
home court advantage
For
possible.
sure. I mean, before the 2020-21 season, the Suns arena was dead. Got Chris
Yeah,
Paul. That arena during those playoffs willed us to the finals.
it was
And
crazy. Yeah,
I
I
mean,
went
besides like
to one
the
of
guy
the Denver
counting
Nuggets
money,
games. Yeah,
yeah.
I went to one of the
Is
Nuggets
this the
Suns
dagger?
playoffs games. It was insane. Like
Yeah.
going from, I'm sure it was like I'm gonna be
And I
real. It was
mean
a lot
we
of bandwagons probably,
yeah. But
but
I mean we
still,
got the
the
we
energy was
got the
insane.
sweep that series. I don't really think
Yeah.
it was bandwagons. I feel like a lot of our fans were kind of sleeping. If you're bad for almost 10
Mhm.
years,
Yeah,
like
it's understandable, but
you're not really going to want to show up. But I mean, that
yeah.
season when we started playing good, we filled the arena, and I feel like that's like
Hmm.
a people will call that bandwagon. But why would a fan want to show up to a game if the tickets are still a similar price and the team's bad? I
Yeah.
mean, really, those years I only went to like 2 or 3 Suns games, and just because like the tickets were like $20, I'd go to like opening game and like
Hmm.
grab a T-shirt or something. Like,
Yeah, just for fun.
yeah, it's
But
just like you show up for fun. But I mean,
yeah.
those teams like that team really grew, and I think that's a part of it. We went from like Ricky Rubio. Well, I mean, like that was the
Yeah.
Valley Boys team with him and Kelly Oubre and Booker. That was a fun team, but like we got so much better the next year. Yeah,
Yeah, we
we're gonna
did.
fill out the arena. And
Yeah.
I mean, getting back to the Suns, I mean,
Suns Chris Paul
there
to
is a
start
lot
it.
of a lot of speculation going into that. So, I mean, they're saying the original report is he got waived by
Yeah, that was that from an insider or was that from an actual I
it was
saw
from
actual sources posting that.
it was an it was an insider that got widely like I feel like it was overpost, which immediately came out with
Hmm.
other insiders saying that's not what happened. He
Oh.
wasn't actually he's not formally waived. So I guess the current plan there is that either they're gonna have a conversation.
Mm.
Like they're gonna have a meeting where they discuss the future with him and whether or not that includes him being waived and letting him leave the team, or him being waived on July 1st and re-signing on a more
Yeah.
team-friendly contract. So
Which would be nice because then we have more cap space for our terrible
the
bench.
problem though is even if we get that cap space opened up, we can sign either another star or a good bench. The problem I have with that is if Chris Paul's still our number one starting point guard, if he gets injured in the playoffs or stops playing good like he constantly does, what do you do in that situation? Like it's just another playoff
Yeah,
failure.
it's
And
just
honestly,
it's a
I think
bad look
as
for the
good as
team
Chris
too.
Paul was at making this team good, he's the reason we're not winning championships.
Yeah, he gets. It's just convenient to me how I want to say 2 or 3 years. Don't quote me on this because I'm not positive. 2 or 3 years
Hmm.
that things started looking tough. He's injured all of a
Yeah,
sudden.
yeah.
Like
I mean,
it
it
seemed
really is.
kind of
And
ironic.
it's just like he has a chronic issue of getting injured. Him
Yeah,
being, I mean, he's like 38, so there's
yeah,
really not much you can do about that. But like, that Rockets team in 2018 would have won the finals.
yeah, for sure,
So
no doubt.
when I see him in that situation doing the exact same thing 3 years in a row, pretty much
Yeah,
buckling, getting injured in the playoffs. what do you do about that? Like
I feel
he's
like at this point it's
at
a
this
better
point, I
unless
think
his
you just
contract goes way
gather the
down.
losses. If we can get
Yeah,
him on veteran minimum and we can still
yeah,
pick up another good point guard that he can split minutes with, and he can
keep
just be
him.
like a team captain, run the offense, but we can still have a
Yeah,
good player like Terry Rozier. Or
exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
I sent you a list of players a few days
hmm
ago, and there
Manuel
was like
quickly.
Manu quickly. The things I do for Manu
I
quickly,
think.
like
Ooh, whoa. I think if we can keep him and load manage him, kind of like
yeah,
they do with
honestly,
Kawhi, even though he still doesn't play in the playoffs,
like I'm trying to
you can
see
do
him
that with
not
Chris
run the
Paul.
last month of the season.
Yeah,
Like I want him
exactly.
fully playoff ready to split
Exactly.
35, 30 less than 30 minutes a game with another like solid bench quality
Yeah, a
or
younger
even
point
like
guard,
low end
preferably.
starting point guard. And
Or pick up Scoot, like we were talking
I
about
mean,
last
that
episode. It
situation
would
would be
work
great to see.
perfect.
And I
Veteran
see a
minimum,
lot
pick
of people
someone
talking
up,
about
pick
that.
up Scoot.
That team would be cool and it gives us a future. So honestly,
hmm
whatever like other bench pieces that in this situation where we would get the third pick from the Blazers, which I've seen two situations with the Blazers that we'll get into,
Ooh.
but I mean, in that situation, whatever they want to send, I'll take whatever for Scoot. A book
Yeah,
Scoot combo is, I mean, that's
that would
as
be
good as it
crazy.
gets. Gives us
And
another
KD on top of that.
15 years of future.
Yeah.
Like, I'm taking that.
Yeah, me too.
But, I mean, another thing with the Blazers, of course, is the situation where we're going to try to get Dame. I don't
I was
see
about to bring
how
that
we
up.
have the capital for that. And that's why, like, I don't, it's going
Here's
to be really hard. Even if we get the
yeah,
cap room from cutting Chris Paul, still, like, how are we going to get that trade done? And
yeah.
also, from reports, Dame wants to go to the East. Every
I
team but
did
the
see that.
Celtics.
Yeah, I saw he said he wanted to go to the Heat or the Nets
Heat or the Nets. So, I mean,
in an interview. I saw an
him and the
interview. It's
Nets.
kind of funny to me. He was literally saying like, "Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I'd love to go to
he
the
was
Heat or the Nets."
talking.
He's still on
He
the Blazers.
and he's
Like you
talking
can't
about
be
like
doing that.
the fans don't want me. Okay, like bro
Yeah.
gave up his loyal persona this like in the past 3 weeks, and I don't
I mean,
even blame him.
understandably. Yeah,
That
no,
team is
yeah.
horrible.
It's so bad.
Like
There's nothing but him. And I was thinking the thing for me is like I know we don't have a ton of cap space and certainly not enough for Damian Lillard, but
yeah,
I feel like he'd be like I don't know how it exactly works, so it probably doesn't work like this, but some sort of like lowering the contract deal, like we sign him, lower the contract. I
yeah.
feel like he'd be willing to do that to contend, and KD has connections around the league. Like
So in
it
that
just
situation,
seems reasonable.
I don't know exactly how that works either, but I know they can stretch out contracts or just like put all the like they could reduce his contract and throw all the money on the last year. But I know that
hmm
only goes up to a certain point because there's like a
Yeah,
salary cap, which I would
yeah,
like to say is like 63 million, which I would like to say Dame has already hit. So I don't know exactly how
yeah,
that
most
works.
likely. But
But
yeah,
that would be an interesting way to do it. But
it would work. Like if we were
yeah,
able to figure something like that out, like obviously we
because
don't know
I
everything
I I
about
would like
that.
to say he's on like a 6 year extension or something like that,
Yeah.
and I believe the current CBA would still be active by then. Because I
hmm
mean, with how the rules work, if the CBA is going to end, you could literally just like alter it, and whenever like if they make the next CBA salary cap like 100 million per player or something, like you
Yeah.
would throw all that money on the last year.
Yeah.
But I, to be honest, I'd actually rather not run 3 stars because I mean, as the
Mm,
last few years have shown, a 3 team like a 3 star setup just doesn't work. Super teams
that is true.
haven't been winning championships,
The
and that's why
Nets.
I don't want to see James Harden on the Suns. To be
Yeah.
honest,
But
like
to our next topic. Yeah.
yeah, as much as like it's completely possible
yeah.
and probably the most realistic, especially if we cut Chris Paul, we'll have that capital
hmm
completely
Yeah.
open. Um,
And
and
we need someone who's able to
we would be able to
pass the
figure it
ball
out.
to the big man
I
and
mean,
who's able to run the floor like Harden. But
yeah,
I
James
feel like
Harden's a
he's still
great
just not the
playmaker,
best
but
option.
I mean, I feel like a solid like 20 and 10 like he puts up every night is
Yeah,
enough, but
yeah, for sure.
him him and KD didn't mesh that well with the Nets. I mean, they
Yeah,
couldn't get it done
I think
the
okay, but
last few
part of
years
it
ago, but
in their
was
defense,
injuries
having
and
Steve Nash as the coach,
yeah, Steve Nash
come
wasn't
on,
a good coach. Yeah,
he's a bad coach. I'm just gonna put it out there. He's not a good coach at all, in my opinion. Like
yeah,
nothing.
he's not anything special. He could be a solid assistant,
Yeah,
but
for
which is
sure.
another
Yeah.
situation I was talking about bringing Mike D'Antoni for the
Hmm.
Suns with Steve Nash as an assistant and
Yeah,
run 7 seconds or less, which
it could
would be a
work.
cool little throwback and would probably work.
Hmm.
I don't know if
Yeah,
any teams are currently running 7 seconds or less. If
hmm.
anybody, it would probably be the Pelicans because I think Mike D'Antoni is currently their assistant coach. But
I think so. Yeah.
um, to be honest, I mean, did we talk about Frank Vogel last week or no?
I don't remember, so maybe we can just touch on
I
that
don't
really
think he was.
quickly.
Yeah. So I mean, Frank Vogel's a coach. I'm fine with that. He said he's going to
It's
bring
okay.
new
Yeah, it's not
energy,
bad. Yeah, I like that. That's what we need.
and I mean, that's exactly when I want to see better adjustments, and he can do
Yeah,
that. He's
I
better.
want to see what I want to see more than anything is a coach that can
Which,
get Aiton to do his damn job. That's what I care
yeah,
about
that's
at this
another
point.
one. Like, I mean, Aiton.
Monty could not do it. Him and Monty did not like each other, and that's what
Mhm.
I think.
And
That's a big part of
honestly,
what ruined
I
us.
think Aiton was really good when team relations were good. That
Hmm.
2020-2021 season, he
Yeah,
was great. He was arguably the best center in the playoffs. I wouldn't even say
yeah,
arguably. I think he was the best center in those
he was
playoffs. He
definitely
was putting up a
a
solid
contender for
20,
that.
20 and like 13 every night with
Mm,
like 3 or 4 blocks at the very
yeah,
least. So like I
he
mean
was
he
just
pretty
everywhere.
much he
He had
contained
the hustle.
Jokic those playoffs, and that was
Hmm.
he was probably the last center to ever contain Jokic in a playoff
Yeah,
off the top
honestly,
of my
yeah,
head because I mean 80 wasn't doing anything with him, of course, and
yeah, not really. No, I mean, no one could this playoff. So that's the
yeah,
thing about this playoffs. It's no one like
I mean
just to
Jokic
go
is at a
off.
different
Go
level right
to
now,
go back to the
and
playoffs really quick. I hated the stupid argument. I think I said this last episode, but I'm just gonna say it again because it's so stupid. The argument of stop everyone else and let Jokic do his thing was the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Because you
yeah,
can't do that. Everyone is good on that team. It's
yeah,
stupid, and
you have
everyone was
shooters
saying that,
everywhere. Even if Jokic was to have a bad night,
which he
which
did the other
actually,
night.
if you look at it, games where he scores less than 20 points, they win every single time, or like
Yeah,
around 20 points. The games where he's scoring like 40 points,
they
they're
lose.
losing.
Yeah,
So like when you just let him do his thing, like actually it might kind of work to be honest.
I mean, it just. I feel like most of those
But
scenarios though were just kind of different. It was just the Nuggets not playing great as a team those
yeah,
nights. Like I
as
know
a
which
team,
nights you're
just
talking
bad
about.
shooting. But I
Yeah,
mean like yeah, I get where you're going with that too. I mean, really, I think the Suns aren't very far off because I we got a little off
no,
track there,
a
but
little
I
bit.
think the Suns are a solid bench piece away from
Yeah,
uh
if we get two
a
bench players
few.
and
I
fix our
think
point guard and center situation, we're there.
like I really want to see Terry Rozier or Emmanuel Quickly, or
Yeah,
even worst case we have to bring in a center. I was thinking like if we could get a deal
I
for
feel like we
like
shouldn't.
if we could like try to trade Aiton for Emmanuel Quickly and Mitchell Robinson, that'd be a good trade in my book.
Mitchell Robinson could fit pretty well.
He's a good fit, I'd say.
Hmm.
I mean, he's mostly defensive and rebounding, doesn't like
Yeah,
score
which is
that often.
what I mean. We don't
What we
need
really need.
scoring,
I mean,
I
if you
guess,
bring
as
in a guy
much,
like
but
Emmanuel quickly, he's gonna pass the ball and he's gonna shoot. He's gonna
hmm,
drive to the basket when he needs to.
yeah,
So I mean, him that setup with Booker is a good setup. You can let
yeah,
Booker play true shooting guard, play mid range or 3 point, without having to make
hmm,
him drive every possession because Chris Paul wants to sit at the mid range and shoot bad
yeah.
shots.
I know.
So I mean,
Quick pull ups on
or I mean, in that
defended.
same situation, you can just pass out to Katie, who can either drive in, do what he needs to do on the
He can do it
baseline,
everywhere.
pass
Yeah,
out to the corner, he can shoot the corner, he can shoot top of the arc, he can shoot from anywhere. So I
that's
mean,
why I
like,
like having KD. He can do literally anything on the floor,
yeah.
plus play defense,
Which
as we
I
saw.
mean, as much as I wish we still had McHale in that setup, to be honest, I feel like the KD trade kind of like shortened our championship window by like
Yeah,
a decade, to be
yeah. I was
honest.
gonna say it did. That's what I've
but
been
like,
saying. Like, if we're gonna win a chip, we need to just go all in the next couple of
yeah.
years because I feel like we're just gonna be in a drought after these next couple of years
hmm
with all
Which
the
I'm a
super
little
teams
worried,
being
which will
built and
put us
all
in the
that.
same situation as like the 7 seconds or less Suns with Steve Nash and
Yeah.
Amari Stoudemire, where they
Hmm.
played good every playoffs for 5 years and they went on a 10 season drought. But I
Yep.
mean, to be honest, I'd take one championship and then 5 years of playoff drought
Yeah.
at the
I
very least.
mean,
7 years of
it's
playoff drought.
understandable.
I mean, I'd rather at least get to say like my team won a championship over saying that we
Yeah.
made the playoffs
That we
every year,
choked
year
4 years in a
lost.
row.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because honestly, the Suns went from being a team everybody liked to a team that nobody likes. Everybody makes fun of for losing in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Luca is somehow our owner, even though he won one playoff series and then missed the playoffs the next
Yeah.
year. But he's sitting in
It's
Cancun, but
annoying.
somehow he's still the Suns owner. But
Yeah, no,
um,
it doesn't make sense to me.
yeah, it really doesn't. It's like the stupidest thing that
Hmm.
basketball Twitter ever came up with. But
Yeah.
um,
Basketball Twitter is defeated. I'm never gonna say basketball Twitter is
bro,
undefeated. It's
basketball Twitter,
always defeated. It's so dumb.
it's literally it's the opposite of undefeated. It's completely defeated.
Yeah. But I think Suns we can kind of go to the topic, I guess. We kind of skipped
Yeah,
over one. Who would you rather have between Dame and Harden?
Harden, 100%.
Hmm. I think
Although I think Dame is a
I don't know.
better fit, but
Hmm.
realistically speaking, Harden is a more
Is a
just like what
better
happened.
all-around player, in my
I would
opinion.
no, I would say that the Suns would be better with Dame than with Harden, but like just
I
generally
don't know.
speaking, I don't. It's not feasible. So
Yeah,
I mean,
like on a
I'm
realistic
I'm gonna go
standpoint,
with Harden,
Harden
but
could definitely fit in too, and like
I
just the
think
amount if he gets the
Harden,
passing that he had with Embiid
and I think
in
he'll keep
Phoenix,
it.
we're good.
I mean, if we can keep eight in that situation, even though he's on a bad contract. But
Yeah.
I mean, if we can like talk him into lowering his contract for like a season or two, make that
Hmm.
cap space fit, that's a championship team for sure. I
Yeah.
don't see it. I don't think it's possible to choke. But in that situation, do you let Book play point guard in that situation, or do you? No, you let Harden play point guard for sure. Let him just run the
Yeah.
offense,
Yeah. I would.
and
Yeah,
then
because
I
Book
mean,
as shooting guard is
you
just
just you
it's
just you
perfect.
just let like T.J. Warren
Yeah.
play small
Or
forward
we
in that
bring in
situation.
another like we
I
could still
think
bring
the
in another
problem is
piece if we bring
I
in
don't
Harden.
I don't think so because Harden's still going to want like at least 45 probably,
Yeah,
and
I feel like
I
we
think
just need
that's
to
probably
find
the
someone who's
maximum of our
willing to
cap
be a
space.
contender more than the highest paid player on a team.
Yeah,
That's what we need.
which honestly I think at this age, Harden is probably at the point where he'd take a pay cut to win.
Yeah,
So
he
I mean
needs a
that was
ring, or
probably
else
the
his
main
legacy
problem.
is.
If he had
Oof.
taken a pay cut to go play with the Sixers, they could have brought in a third player and probably won a championship. So
Yeah.
because I think that team with a solid third player is better than the Nuggets for sure. So
Mm, I,
I don't know.
maybe
That team is.
they do have a
I
really
mean,
good all-around
that
team,
yeah,
but the Nuggets are just so good.
yeah, they have a solid all-around team as well. So like, I don't know. I mean, do you want to get into the NFL? I don't know. If, did
Yeah, we
we
might
really
as
get
well.
in? Did we really get into it last week? To be honest, I think we
I don't
talked a
think we
little
did.
bit about. I think we were supposed to talk a little bit about Hopkins, but I don't know
We
if
can
we
just
ever
talk
really
about
got in.
Hopkins really quick
Well, I
since
mean,
we're
like,
on the NFL topic. I don't even know if we did, so we might as
I
well.
feel like we did. I feel like we talked about it episode 2, not even episode 3. Um,
It's a good
but
chance.
I
All I
mean,
gotta say
his
about it is he's
situation's
going to
a
the
lot of.
Giants or the Ravens.
He's
That's all I
not
gotta
going
say.
to the Giants or the Ravens, in my opinion. I think he's pretty much a lock to go to Kansas City on a big pay cut because I mean, a lot of people are reporting that
That would
he's
be insane.
washed, which I don't fully agree with.
What?
Yeah, a lot of like they're
He
bringing in
missed half the
stats that
season.
like he had for his target rate, he should have had more yards or something like that. He's not getting
Oh
open
my god.
without his steroids or
They must
something
have
like that.
not
But like
watched
he
the
played
games now.
great. If you weren't
Yeah.
watching the Cardinals last year, which a lot of people weren't, because they were bad, I'll give them that.
Yeah.
But like he was still good. He isn't. There's no situation where I'd consider him a washed receiver.
No.
I mean,
Not at
he's
all.
aging, but if you're the
I still
Chiefs,
think
why
he's
wouldn't?
top five if when he's playing. I
I
think he
wouldn't go
could
that far.
definitely be top
I
five.
think there's a lot of young guys that can fit in that category, but I mean, he's definitely close to the top 5 in my opinion.
You
Or
get him
like,
with Mahomes though, he's top
yeah,
one.
yeah, he's catching
There,
the
no
ball
one's
every
stopping him.
possession. He's jumping over guys, he's getting the ball. So I mean
Yeah.
that lineup, which another thing with that
Jesus.
is if they get a guy like Hopkins, that opens up that I mean Kelsey's gonna have to be like in that
Yeah.
situation, you have to either decide are you gonna double coverage Hopkins on this play, or
Yeah. Or Kelsey.
are you gonna send your edge and your middle linebacker on
Jeez,
like
dude.
double coverage to catch Kelsey. So I mean, in that situation, it's tough. So that's
That's a
why I mean
scary
that
team.
if they get a guy like him, even if he's not putting up insane numbers, they're I feel
Yeah.
like that makes him a championship log.
Yeah, if the Chiefs get D Hop, no one's stopping them. Who
Yeah,
can? Like, there's not a single
like
defense in the league good enough to stop them.
I mean, and they still have decent receivers too. That I
Yeah,
mean,
they have such a they're literally the Nuggets of the NFL. Anyone can make a big play on that team.
yeah, like
So
literally
it just
players that you would have like heard of and thought, oh yeah, they're trash. Like they'll still be putting up numbers just because, first of all, Patrick Mahomes is that good that he's going to make
yeah.
anybody on his team look good with him. But I mean, getting onto another NFL topic is Dalvin Cook being cut.
To the
So I mean,
Cowboys.
that one kind of caught me off guard, and I think
Yeah.
like what you were saying, Cowboys are the most obvious team. I've heard Dolphins,
I was gonna
which I
say
mean, I
Dolphins
could
make
see
sense
as
too.
well. And I mean, another team is the Eagles. Could be a solid fit.
I don't think they
Put them
can
over the
pick him
championship
up at
level.
this point.
I think.
Unless they drop someone else or
I
do
mean,
something. They just signed so many players and they just
they did.
picked up
And I
like
mean, they
too
drafted
much.
really well too. So I mean,
Yeah, they don't
that's
need
going to
him.
be open money eventually. But I mean,
Yeah,
they. I mean,
Cowboys is
they
perfect.
do kind of need a running back with Miles Sanders gone, and Miles Sanders is
Mhm.
truly, in my opinion, one of the most underrated running backs in the league.
Yeah, he. I
Which is
think
in
he's one of my favorite players. I hate the
this is
Eagles,
my
but he's one
hot
of my
take of
favorite
the
players.
this is my hot take of the day. Even though I don't think Bryce Young will amount to anything like really crazy, I think he'll be like a solid starting quarterback for the next like 10 years. But
Mhm.
at like peak, he'll be like maybe Pro Bowl. But
Because of the team
I
he's
could see
on.
him like being like almost like a Derek Carr type of guy. But what I was saying is
Mhm.
I think that with how bad the
That's not the
NFC
hot
South
take.
is this year, is that the here I'm coming with it. The Panthers are going to win their division this year. They're going to go from having the ninth pick slash first pick, they traded down. But I think in that situation they're going to win their division. I mean, the Saints are bad this year.
Yeah,
They're really bad. The Bucks are going to be, if not the second worst team in the NFL. The
yeah. The Bucks are
Falcons,
gonna be
the
terrible.
Falcons could maybe slip in a wild card appearance, but I don't think that they have the QB talent to get there. Um, with
Yeah,
Desmond Ritter playing.
I mean, honestly, I don't. I feel like that's not a super hot take.
I mean, there's
Honestly,
a
like,
situation there where like Derek Carr goes like nuclear and like wills
yeah,
them to like
that's
10
not gonna
games. I
happen
mean, they
though.
got guys like Chris Olave who's really good. If Michael Thomas
But
comes
he's
back, they're
not
solid.
good enough to
But
do that.
another thing I noticed recently was that they let all of their defensive linemen besides Cameron why am I blanking on his last name? He went to Chandler High School or Hamilton, I think, or something like that. But
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
Cameron it's is it Cameron Thomas? I don't think that
I
sounds
think
right.
so. I
But
think it is.
he is pretty much on an island out there, so they're not going to be doing
Mhm.
much pass rush wise. Their secondary
Yeah.
is okay, but I mean they're not going to amount to much. I don't think they're going to be the worst team
Mhm.
in the division. I think they'll
No,
definitely win
they're
at
not
least
gonna be
like
the
six.
worst.
They're
No.
going to win like 6 games probably.
Yeah.
So I mean I feel like this might also be a hot take. I feel like the
Don't
Bucks would
say
be
my hot
lucky.
take. Damn it.
The Bucks are would be lucky to win like more than 3 games.
Oh, that
So
is not my hot take. Jesus
what's
Christ.
your hot take?
I
Let's hear it.
My hot take is the Bucks win the division with Baker
How
Mayfield.
no, he looked
Yes.
horrible
I don't
in
care.
camp,
Baker
and
Mayfield with Mike Evans and
Mike Evans is also not that good. To be
Jesus
honest, in
Christ.
my opinion,
He's had
he drops
consecutive
balls.
seasons with 1,000 yards plus every
When
season.
you have a quarterback like, in my opinion, Jameis Winston, who could start on like any of the bad teams in the
No,
NFL,
bro.
but
You
I
really like
think
James Winston
that
for no
I
reason. He's
really do.
ass.
He's always my
He's
QB2
ass.
in fantasy football, which might be why I
That's why
lose
you
every.
lose. I was gonna
But
say.
I think that Mike Evans isn't better than Chris Godwin for starters.
I
I think
think
he
they're perfectly matched evenly,
even
like for
really
that team.
okay. I
I
think
think
that
Mike Evans is better if you want to argue that, but
I
I
think
don't want to
Tom
argue that
Brady
right now.
made them look better than they really were. And
Well,
honestly, this
yeah,
season, Mike Evans kind of like fell off. So I would even consider Chris
not
Godwin
really.
to be his superior this season because I mean he didn't play
It
very
just
good.
depended on the game.
He would
It
drop
depended
balls
on the defense.
continually wide open.
A few, yeah.
He doesn't have very good
It just
hands,
depended
but he
on the
has good
game. Like,
explosiveness. He can get separation, and that's where he
mhm.
really makes his mark. But
He
um,
got multiple touchdowns, multiple 100+ yard games. So
I mean, when you have the
I
best
think that
quarterback of
team
all
will
time
be,
playing, even though he didn't play
yeah.
very good last year, but
Bucks and Panthers will be the two best in my opinion.
really,
Saints
that's
will
definitely a hot
be
take.
third, maybe
I
fourth is going to
I
be
wouldn't be shocked if the Bucks send a package when they get the third pick to trade up with the Cardinals. Because in my personal mock, I think I have Houston being the worst team in the league. CJ Stroud. I don't see him winning a
yeah.
lot of games, to be honest. I think they'd be lucky to win two or three, just like the Bucks.
Yeah, they're
But
overhyping Will Anderson and CJ this year.
yeah,
I'm not saying they're going to be
Will
bust,
Anderson
but
will
they're
be a
not going to
great
be
defensive
anything this year.
piece, but they're really not
Hmm.
going to be nothing like
They don't have enough.
exceptionally special. I mean, they have like Damon Pierce, who I
Hmm.
think will be good. I think he'll put up yards, maybe be a Pro Bowler this year. But
Maybe. They lost Brandon
but
Cooks to the Cowboys, though. They don't have
yeah, I
anyone
mean,
for CJ
they
Stroud to
really
throw
don't
to.
have receivers or anything. I guess they could try
No.
bringing back DeAndre Hopkins. That'd be cool.
He's not
I
going to
think
want
he
to go
wants to
there.
play contender, but like
Yeah, he
I've
wants to
heard a
play
lot
for a
about
good
him
team.
going back to Houston. Like he's been in Houston a lot recently.
I feel
But
like anytime in the NBA too, though, like a
if
player's
a
ready, like
player's looking to
James
go back, they're
Harden
gonna
going
say
back to
he's
Houston, yeah,
yeah.
like come on, like it's
But
not
I
going to
mean,
happen.
in
And
that
even if it does happen, you're not
situation,
doing good.
yeah. But I think in my scenario, I think that Cardinals end up with the top two picks because they have Houston's pick. And then
Mm,
realistically, depending on
that'd be
how good
crazy.
Kyler plays, if Kyler plays good in the games he comes back for, I don't see him drafting Caleb Williams because
No,
I feel like the Kyler Murray trade value isn't there. But I mean, if Kyler Murray plays horrible in that situation, you just cut him and cut your losses. Like,
yeah,
because I mean,
that's it'd be understandable,
like a
honestly.
team like if the Falcons wanted to go after Kyler Murray next year and they didn't like if they send us a second round pick after he had a bad season, I'm taking that. So I mean,
Mm,
this is really a
I
make
don't
it or
know.
break it year because Kyler Murray, if he
Yeah,
plays bad this year, that proves that he's not a. I mean, we're trying to win playoff games here. Like, I mean,
yeah,
of course we're in a rebuild and it's going to be 2, 3 years out, especially if we go after Caleb Williams. But like, I'd
but you
rather
can't have
start
Kyler holding the
fresh.
team back. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna. Yeah, you
I
just can't have
mean,
Kyler holding the
I'm
team
not
back if you want to win
massive
championships and rebuild.
on Caleb Williams, but like I think he's still
Me neither.
great. I think he's a great quarterback prospect, and he could grow to be like a really good. Like he can command the field. He's like he has size. He's, I
Yeah,
mean, he can throw the ball, deep ball, accurate. He's a good pick, especially with. I think it's a lock that the Cardinals are going to draft Marvin Harrison Jr. No matter
yeah,
what. If
they
they get
should.
if
There's
they
no
get
reason they
top one
should
or
not.
two, I don't see a situation where he goes first unless the Bucks. No, the Bucks would always
They
draft
wouldn't.
quarterback no matter what.
No,
Um,
yeah, they have to.
in worst situation, either the Houston pick or the Cardinals pick ends up out of the top
Mm,
three. I feel like that's the only situation where they don't end up with Marvin
yeah,
Harrison. But if we end up with both picks, realistically, I feel like we're starting fresh. Caleb Williams probably going first, or Marvin Harrison Jr. going first.
yeah. Marvin Harrison Jr. is gonna be good. That's all
Also,
I
in that
know.
situation, if you have the top two picks, who do you draft first? Do you take Marvin Harrison just to say you
Yeah,
drafted a receiver
yeah.
first, or do you want to not sound stupid if he doesn't end
No,
up very good?
you take Marvin Harrison because he's one of my favorite prospects coming
I think
into the
he's the
NFL
best
in a long
or not
time.
quarterback, receiver prospect in the last 15 years.
Yeah, I think he's gonna go
I
far.
think
Like
the
he
only
can.
player that
He's
comes to
insane.
mind in the last 15 to 20 years that would be considered like a top prospect for receiver would be um Calvin Johnson, Megatron, or
Yeah.
maybe Justin Jefferson because I mean
Mm,
he went like fourth, I think. So
yeah. I
I
think
mean,
I
off
think
the
he could
top of my
definitely end up
head.
being better.
Yeah, I think he'll be better. Well, I mean, that's kind of a
Not
hot
than
take to say he's
Megatron.
going to be better than Megatron.
And
But in my
one day
opinion, I think
it's
he
gonna
for
come
sure
back to
has.
us in 2 years. This episode, he's gonna have like
He's going
40
to be
yards a
horrible.
game or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
think
I
there's
mean,
no way he's going to be horrible, in my opinion, though.
no,
I think he's
he's good.
too athletic. He has insanely
Hmm.
good hands. I
Yeah,
mean, Marvin Harrison, in my opinion, is like a sneaky like top 5 receiver of all time. So his son,
yeah.
him giving that much props to his son that he thinks his son is that much better than him, like
That
that
says
means
something for
that in
sure.
my
Marvin
opinion
Harrison is one of the best receivers of all time.
that means that he's like top 1 potential. Like
Yeah, I don't
and
think we'll ever see a receiver
a
better than
receiver better than like Jerry
Megatron or
Rice.
Jerry
I
Rice
think
or any
there
of those
I think
guys.
there was
But
in my opinion this is a hot take. I think there was plenty of receivers better than Calvin Johnson even in his own era.
Megatron was just so
I would
good.
say that Terrell Owens is better by
Yeah.
quite a
Well,
bit.
not, I wouldn't say
I
better,
mean,
but I would say it's
Jerry
really
Rice,
close
these
between
aren't the
them.
same eras. They're I mean, theirs is like
Hmm.
10 years off, but like playing at the same time, I would
Yeah.
say that they were better. Jerry Rice obviously is better. I mean,
Hmm.
I would say Larry Fitzgerald puts higher all time than him. I don't think he's a more
Then
skilled receiver.
Megatron?
Yes, Megatron. He had better stats by far.
Yeah.
And
No, yeah, I agree. I just don't think he. I don't know.
I don't think he was like
Megatron's just really
more
good.
talented than him or like
Yeah.
dominant. But like I feel like Larry
He's
Fitzgerald,
yeah.
being a
Megatron's
Cardinals
the most
fan,
dominant
in
receiver
my
ever.
opinion, I like to sneak Larry Fitzgerald top 3.
I put him
So
in my top five.
he's
I don't
for
say
sure
top
top
three,
5.
but top five. I
I'd
put
put
Megatron, Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens over him, so he's not my top five, but I think he'll be my number four.
you don't have Jerry Rice on that list?
I said Jerry Rice.
I thought you said Terrell
I
Owens first.
said
I'm sorry.
no. I said all three of them.
Okay. Because
Not in any particular order.
maybe we shouldn't get into our like our top
We'll
fives
save
because
that for when we
yeah,
run out of ideas.
nice like little
But
like TikTok reel or something like or not
yeah,
reel
nice
Instagram
little
reel.
segment. Yeah,
Post up
I
a
don't even
reel or
use.
like a little
Who do you
infographic.
think? Comment down below. Guys, comment down below who you think is top five receivers, and we'll
do
bash
that.
on
Do
you on the
yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
We'll make fun of you.
If you wanna send out your bad takes, we'll put up a few like we can read
We
them
will
out on
happily
stream.
make fun of you on the podcast.
Yeah.
Nah, but
Okay. I mean,
I feel like
we
we
really
covered
round up
everything.
the NFL segment.
The quick
I
things
mean,
though.
quick things we got to get
You
over
want to go
is,
over the first
and
one?
yeah, I'll go through the first one. I mean, Man
Because I
City
know
won the
your
Champions
take
League final.
on the
That
dude who
was
sold.
yeah, I know in their first Champions League final. So I'm an Arsenal fan, so I don't like saying those words, but
Yeah.
I think that if Lukaku played a little bit better, or
Yeah.
just didn't get in the way, or
That's
well,
the part I agree
I
with.
don't
I
like
think
saying
he
he played
played
bad
great.
because he didn't play bad.
He played great, but he got
He
in the
got
way.
way more opportunities than
Mhm.
anybody else on that team. In
Yeah.
his like he was only on the field for like 20 minutes. So
Yeah.
I mean, in that situation, I don't understand why they didn't play him full game. That was weird,
No,
or
yeah.
at least
I
like
don't get that.
the entire second half.
Yeah, I was
But
watching it, and when he came in, it was a completely different
it
game.
was like literally like light switch. Like they
Yeah.
started kicking it up. They were ready to win, score a goal, send it to extra time, and or yeah,
That last kick was insane in the
yeah.
final 5 minutes of the game. That was the
And
craziest
I
thing
would
I've witnessed.
honestly like say more. It wasn't really about Lukaku, besides the one time where his teammate
His
tried to
ankle
header the
got in the
ball
way.
in, and he
Hmm.
got in the way. But besides that, I feel like Ederson played an insanely good game at keeper for Man City, and that was the
Yeah, I
real
was about
reason.
to bring that
And I
up.
mean, they
That was
had like
unbelievable.
the, I mean the I was about to say back 4 or back 5 for Man City. I don't know what formation they play, so I'm
I
not
don't
going to
even
say
know the
that. But
formations. I don't watch soccer that
their
much.
fullbacks played very well. I'm wearing a USA shirt
Yeah,
today, so
repping.
um, I think they played really good. And I mean, congratulations. I know a few Man City fans, so I
Yeah,
mean that's good for
there's
them.
there's a lot of
I
them.
feel like they're my least favorite club, so like I didn't talk much about it.
That's a great way to
I
end
was a
that.
little upset. I may or may not have dropped to my knees when
When they made the
Lukaku
goal.
missed that shot. So
Oh yeah,
um,
dude, I know it was crazy. I was watching the whole game and it
Meg
was
the
just
Stallion cursed
crazy.
him. So um,
um,
you
my
can get
final
into
thing
yeah.
is Nick Taylor hitting a 72-foot putt to win the Canadian
That's pretty
Open,
cool.
being the first Canadian to win the Canadian
That's pretty
Open,
cool.
ironically
I mean,
enough. I know, it's weird.
shout out to Canadians. I mean, they have their wildfire now.
Shout out to
So,
Canadians.
I mean, shout out to all Canadians. Parker. I mean,
Yep, Parker, if you're watching this,
he's not
he's
in
not
Canada,
watching this.
so I mean, he's not
Yeah.
watching. um, yeah.
No, but that putt
Congratulations to
was
all
insane.
Canadians everywhere. I mean, they
Yeah,
have
first Canadian to win it. So, big deal in Canadian
I can
books.
now name
Not that I know
three.
much
I
about
can now
golf.
name three Canadians. So um,
Total or golfers?
total. Okay,
Drake,
let's name my
Drake,
top five Canadians.
Parker.
No, like I'm talking athlete Canadians.
Oh, okay.
Drake doesn't
Oh,
count.
Jesus Christ. Drake
Okay,
counts. He plays basketball.
my top five. Okay, I'll put Drake on my list. Okay,
Jamal Murray.
let's just go all Canadians.
Jamal Murray, right?
Starting from
He's from
five,
Canada, right?
Nick Taylor because he's there.
Yeah.
Number four, Parker. Parker makes the list. Number
You
three.
put Parker over Nick Taylor?
Number three. Jamal Murray. Number three.
Yeah, for sure.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Number two. I think he's better, so I'm gonna go
I
with
forgot
that.
about that.
He's more important for the national team, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, but now I can't put Alphonso Davies on there, so I don't know where to put him.
This was
So
super random,
Drake.
anyways.
Yeah,
So
Drake.
yeah,
I guess Drake
Drake
is
number
three
one,
anyway.
baby.
You know what? No, after the embarrassing clip, it's Alphonso Davies is number
Oh
one,
my god. All
and he
right.
doesn't make. He's an honorable mention.
Who, Drake?
Yeah,
I'll put
embarrassing.
Drake over Parker, but that's
Wow, that's a hot take. I think that's a great way to round off the episode.
it
Yeah.
definitely is. Yeah, that was a pretty fun way to end
We
it.
can
Pretty good episode.
post up that infographic. Top five Canadians. You guys can let us know who your top five
Yeah.
Canadians are.
So we got 47 minutes down. I think that
Yeah,
was a
I
pretty
think
solid
that
episode.
was pretty good.
Great way to end episode 4, and we would just like to thank you guys
Yeah,
for watching.
we'll get episode 2 or episode 3 and 4 on Spotify hopefully by tonight.
Yeah,
Or well,
that was my
episode 4
fault.
will release tomorrow. We had some little technical
In the next
difficulties.
2 to 3 days, I will figure it
Yeah,
out. I'm a
hopefully
little bit busy,
we'll
but
try
I'll
to
figure
figure
it
it
out.
out. We had a lot of technical difficulties doing the online segments.
Yeah.
So
We
I
got it
mean,
figured out now, so we're
I
good.
think that was a great way. I mean, we'll see
Yep.
episode
So
5 next week.
yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll be back next Monday with another episode.